All right, guys, hope you've had a good weekend. It's time to take a look at the markets. Let's take a look at gold to start off with. We're also going to take a quick flick through the US30 and Nasdaq for the week ahead because April starts on Tuesday. So, yeah, let's see what opportunities we've got ready for next week. So, starting off with gold as usual, and obviously we've got very clear market structure. If we just take a look at the monthly candle, we are incredibly bullish. Okay, now the weekly candles, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. There's not been one bearish candle this month. Okay, now the majority of my work is done on the daily, as you know. Along with these daily levels that we usually mark off with horizontal lines, I've started to add these little zones just to cover the wick, because what you'll notice that happens is sometimes we'll come down to the support level here and we just won't quite touch it. So this obviously for gold was the buy area for futures. Okay, that's 3047.7. okay, now if you pay attention to the wicks, okay, from the 31st of March, these wicks then start to move up before we exploded up on Thursday, broke through all-time highs again, and then we've had a full body daily closure above. Okay, so if we drop down to the 4 hour, we've actually got a bit of consolidation. All right, so the last few hours of, well, the last whole day, the whole of Friday last week was a consolidation. So there's going to be a move out of this consolidation somewhere. Now, if we were to draw an accumulation like that, okay, you can actually see, if you zoom in, it looks like we've got reversal wicks coming here. Now, we've got to wait and see what happens with the market open, because that's actually a 4 hour fair value gap. All right, now obviously there wasn't enough energy, enough volume in the market to push price up even higher. So we're going to have to see again, you know, how does the market open, because we've got two scenarios. Okay, potentially we come down to this level around about 3088, retest the daily and the daily zone before moving up. However, if we were to break below this level, there's actually a 4 hour so we've got an accumulation here, right? This accumulation potentially hasn't been retested. We could come down and retest this level, right? Which would possibly, I wouldn't be taking a short from here, right? If we break below the daily, that's where I'd potentially be looking at shorts, but then we may only come down maybe 200 pips before moving back up again. So we could see a move down to the downside into this 4 hour level and back up. But that being said, this is also a 4 hour level. Okay, so the two levels that I'm paying close attention to for the start of next week are 3088 and then maybe down around 3070 mark. Okay, now let's take a look at US30. Okay, so we had some pretty big sell-offs on the Dow last week. Okay, we came up again to this daily level, which is quite a strong pivot point. All right, this is actually a weekly support level, which when it broke through, we had a closure below. We had a gap up in the market on Monday before we hit up into this daily support zone or resistance zone. So once price breaks through support, that area usually becomes resistance. Now, there's been a lot of talk with Trump and his tariffs, which is probably the catalyst for sending price down the way it went down on Friday. Okay, now if we zoom in a bit again on the 4 hour, okay, now we've actually got a couple of levels here. This level that I've marked off is a weekly level. So let's take a look at the weekly. Okay, this is a weekly level here. Okay, we broke through it, closed above, we rejected, and then we tried to move back up. Okay, this is the weekly support level here that I was talking about. Okay, so this is the weekly support that we're currently 2 full weeks below. Okay, so if we're moving back down to the daily, okay, we've got this daily support level here and potentially a pivot point. Again, this candle's closed with absolutely no wick to the downside. So how it opens up at 10 p.m. tonight, we'll have to wait and see. we've got a couple of ideas. Obviously, we're looking for shorts, okay, because the market's very bearish. I would suggest possibly we could come down to this weekly level, retest, possibly move back up to the daily, 41,942 before moving down further again, okay. We've also left behind a nice big fair value gap here on the 4 hour, which during live sessions next week we'll work with that and try and narrow it down and fine tune it to try and find some shorts around about here. Now the same principle goes for Nasdaq, okay. So the Nasdaq pretty much moving the same. We've got this big bearish weekly candle, okay, weekly support around 1911.2. Daily, okay, again, same principle. This blue level here is a 4 hour level, okay, so I've marked that off, but we've closed below this daily support level, right? So we could do one of two things. We could, again, gap up or gap down, so we have to wait and see what happens when the market opens. If we drop down to the 4 hour, okay, as long as we stay below this zone here, okay, if you can just cast your eyes to this point here, right, this is a clear support zone. Now prices come up, you can see how it reacts to the daily. Once it breaks the daily, it comes back up and retests, and then it's just sunk. All right, now the same principle applies when we've broken through this daily. Again though, we have to wait and see how the market opens up, because the market could gap up like it did last week, in which case we could potentially even move all the way back up to retest this kind of area up here, around about the 20,068. Failing that, okay, if we are to keep moving down, I would expect to have a pretty big reaction off this weekly level. So I'm waiting for price to open up, and again on Monday when we're in the live session around about 8:30 in the morning, 8:15, in the morning, once everybody's gone to work and school, we'll discuss this in more detail. But these are my levels, okay, so these are the levels I'm currently looking at on gold, Nasdaq and US30, okay. We'll wait and see, okay. I'm predicting a pretty volatile market next week. We've got NFP on Friday. We've got a lot of data coming out. So we'll trade the strongest levels as we always do. And we'll be looking to trade these daily levels and in some cases the 4 hour levels, okay? So bearish on Nasdaq, YM, which is US30, okay? We are also very bearish, okay? And then if you want to take a screenshot of these levels, more than welcome. And then on gold, we are extremely bullish, okay? So I'm probably going to stick with gold for the majority of the time next week, because I think if we break below this level, there could be a pretty big sell-off. Maybe we come down back to this level, which is 400 pips, okay? So generally speaking, you'll find that gold and the indices will trade between the daily levels, from daily to daily to daily to daily to daily to daily. So when one breaks, you look for the shorts to the next daily level, and if one breaks to the upside, well, we're at all-time highs, so nobody knows. Right, I hope you enjoyed this analysis, guys. If you've got any questions, hit me up in the chat room, and tomorrow morning we will be live trading from around about 8:15, 8:20. So yeah, look forward to seeing you. Have a nice evening, guys.